Alrighty, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are continuing on our Roblox ammo basic combat system series. So in the first video we made a weapon. In the second video we made ammunition for the weapon. And we played around with a couple of things. In today's video what we're going to do is we're going to just further expand on how we can use this tool to manipulate the world that we're going to build for the tool, around the tool. Okay. So what I was doing in the last video is I put a script inside this object, and I said when the bullet hits if the object is hit by this other object, then do something. And that worked out okay, but we had some problems in the code when we started to query the object. It kept giving us errors and errors and errors. And that was because I wanted to name the object the player's name, so that way I could track it in the workspace. But then what I decided was, well, maybe what I can do is I can make a script, put some code in it, and then we could clone that script onto the bullet. And I thought that's probably a better way of doing it. And that way all the code is in one object, and then all we need to do is change the name of the objects on the map, and they will do different things. Like this could be, let's say, wall and ceiling. So right now it's called hit things. When it hits a wall, the wall is going to turn red. Otherwise, if it hits a base plate, it's just going to delete itself. And we can just take this kind of bit of code and we can just keep copying this. And we can just keep carrying on and carrying on, and we can keep adding, we can keep adding whatever we want to it. So right now I'll just tell it to wait at the end here, because we're gonna add on to this other objects that we want this object to come into contact with. Because I was thinking that when we get into building the rockets and stuff, which are gonna chase the players and that, this is how we're going to want to do it. It'll be a lot easier, and we're not going to get the errors. So a big thing about programming is you want to try and, have no errors. And that just makes it easy for debugging. If you add an update to the game, if there's no errors before the update, and then there's errors with the update, it's really easy for you to debug that, isolate it, and fix it. If you have existing errors that you ignore, and then you update your game with fresh programming, which also has errors in it, all you're doing is just adding to the complexity. And you can get those error reports through Roblox. It tells you every day how many errors, what the errors are. And so that's the important thing. If you name your scripts, it'll tell you what line in the code where the error is. And then you can go through and check it and make sure, verify it. Right, so we have a wall, and then this one is our ceiling. And instead, let's make it go green, all right? And then it does remove itself. So after it hits the object's properties change, and then it removes itself. So we can change this. We can add stuff. We could say hit.brick color, or we could say hit.material even equals, and we could make it like neon, right? Like that. So that way we have our weapon. That one goes red. There we go. See, it's neon, and this one isn't neon. So you're able to do that, right? And then let's say, what else can we do? Okay, let's go to the toolbox and let's get ourselves if we look at decals and we look at maybe broken wall. Let's see, how does that look? Oh yeah. And then let's see if we rotate that. Right, and then if we insert object, right, fire, and then if we insert, So this object, ceiling, these are all the things that are going to be inside this specific object. We can insert some smoke as well. Smoke and fire. Though we can change the properties of the smoke. Down. There we go. We can do something like that. So then this can be we just turn the transparency to 1. And we'll make this broken. And then the smoke will be enabled false, and then the fire will be enabled false. So then in our bullet, we can say, okay, what happens when it hits a ceiling? Well, it's going to go green, and then we're going to say hit dot fire dot enabled equals true, and we can say hit dot smoke dot enabled equals true, and we can say hit dot broken dot transparency big word, hold on, make sure we're spelling it right. P-R-E-N-S-T-A-R-E-N-C-Y equals 0. Okay. So let's see what happens when we shoot at that block. Oh yeah, look at that. And it does everything that we told it to do. Neat. And then the object deleted itself, so you don't even have to worry about what I was saying in the last one. When you allow the player to spawn objects in, it'll burden the server, and then if there's too many objects, it's just going to slow down the server. So we need to find a way to handle that. So this kind of expands on that. So now what we're doing is, as soon as you fire it, it disappears as soon as it hits any object. So that's the best thing you can do. Neat. So that's a ceiling. So every time you fire at a ceiling, and then every time you fire at a wall, it can do something else. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Let's see what we can do for this wall here. Oh yeah, it could go. Let's see. That's kind of nice. If we rotate that. Paste into, and then this can be fix. Oh yeah, this is cool. Okay, and then we'll just name this the same. Fix. Maybe we actually don't. Let's see. Let's get rid of that. Let's turn this into a wall, seeing as how I'm building it more like a wall. And then in the code, in the hit things code, we'll change this to wall. And we'll change this to ceiling. We'll do something else for the ceiling. Right, and then it's super easy. Then all you need to do is just there you go. Pick a size. So we need to say fix. Let's see, what do we got to do? Functions, hit things. We need to say hit dot fix dot transparency equals 1. Yeah. Oh. There we go. So then what you would need to do is we would need to make another script that plays on the server insert object, a script, and this script here would be our change. Let's see, I don't know, return our return properties script. And what it's going to do is it's going to say, we can just tell it to wait, maybe every minute, and then what it'll do is it can scan the workspace. Let's see how this could work. So this is going to have to be grouped into a folder. And then we're going to have to say wall equals game.workspace. Walls. And then we'll say get children. There we go. And then it'll get all these in here. And then we can say hold on, I'm gonna need to check here. File. We need to check some code. Okay, so we can go into here and I think this is what we can do here. But it needs to be part of a function, so we need to say while true use. And then we need to say and then we need to say number grp1. But all that does is allow us to change the block, I think. Is that right? Oh no, we can change all the properties. So what do we need? We need the transparency doesn't change. So this should be concrete. There's no light in there. So there's fire. Dot enabled equals true. Let's see, there's fire. There's smoke. And then there's broken, and then there's fix. Alright, so fire and smoke. And then there's broken. And then there's fix. Except broken is with lowercase b. And then this is broken dot transparency. This one equals 0, and this one will equal this one will equal 1. No, this one should equal 0, and this should equal 1, and this should be false. And then what we also need to do is we need to say grp1 we need to change the brick color equals brick color dot new we'll say gray. There we go. So we don't need this weight here. And let's just change that to 10. Let's see what happens. Oh my goodness. Oh, there we go. Yeah, see that? Oh, that's so cool. So now we're able to, you notice like not every time, because the gun is low accuracy, it doesn't connect every time. I actually really like it. You know, it makes it challenging. And now we're out. Cool. So yeah, so now we have a basic combat setup where we can now manipulate terrain. That's one part of it. Now the next part of it is we want to try and manipulate an NPC. So for that, that's going to take just a little bit of code. So what I have an old file, an AI file. Where's there? Let's hear Roblox AI. So you can go into the toolbox and you can get, you can even use a dummy. I'm just using this because all the code is in here, and we're gonna go through the code, similar to how I did in. All right, so we don't need this one anymore. You see how it's handy? It's nice when you have bits of code you can use, you can call upon if you need it. All right, so let's do this. And then I'll close this one and we'll go over it. No, we don't want to save changes. All right, so what we have here is we have just an NPC. It could be, let's see, we can take a model. Where is it here? Avatar and avatar setup. That's all it is, right? We could take a builder rig, and you could just put your avatar in here even if you wanted to. All right, so that's all it is. So what do we need? So inside this, it has the humanoid. That's what we need to be able to animate this object. We don't always need a humanoid. You can animate them. You can say this is one rig and you can animate it as a rig. But the easiest thing to do is just go into the toolbox and then under models, just search up. I search up NPC. And then you get all these, and any one of these will work, right? Just put it in there and then make sure it has the humanoid. Make sure it's welded. If you have any parts that you want to add onto it, that they're welded to the body so they don't fall off. Like in this case, he's got the vest on. It's a little bit low, but that's all right. Then we don't need the animate script. You can, I'll actually just delete it and just show that you don't need it. All right. What I was using that script for was, so inside the animate script, it has the Roblox ID for walking, running, swimming, the actions. So if you want the NPC to dance or to do any of that stuff, this is where you can get the ID for that. So I was just using it just to test out the NPC. But what's important is this. This is just a simple code which is going to get the NPC to walk. So what we do is we find where the humanoid is, and then this folder here is just it's where the positions are, A and B. All right. We don't need this and this. We need this position and this position. So the code says get this person to walk here and then walk here. So we need those two positions. That's why we have the two blocks. All right. So if you're trying to get the position, and we're going to go over that right now. So then it has these animations. What you need to do is you need to go right click and you need to say insert object, click on animation. This is where you put the animation ID, which is the animation that you want the NPC to do. Do you want it to dance? If you want the animation to dance, where it says animation ID, that is where you're going to put the dance ID. It's that simple. That URL there, just put it in there and it'll work. And that's it. Name the model. You're going to say NPC load animation. In this case, it's animation with lowering. It's this here. Because I have a couple of them. One is a clipboard, one is another one. And then we say loop true, so it just turns it into a true, right? And then we say while true do, basically while true do again. So it's in a loop, and what it does is, I've said game get service chat. What this does is this allows you to have your NPC say a message. Okay, see that? The shelves are getting low, whatever he says. If it's a zombie, it can growl, whatever. And then this is supposed to be the color of the text, but it doesn't seem to be working, so I'll have to change that part. But basically, you just want this. Get service chat, right? Just like that, okay? Then you're going to say humanoid, move to folder.a.position. That's just the position here, right? We have our two positions. Then what you say is you tell it to play, right? Model play. It's going to play the animation. In this case, it's walking, so we determine the walk speed. Then we want to say move to finish wait. That means as soon as it goes here, it's going to wait, and then it's going to move on to the next part of it, right? In this case, I say model stop, wait, walk speed 0. Otherwise, it'll stand there, it'll stop, and it'll march in place. So just something for you to play with. Play with this little bit of code. See how it makes your NPC move, what it does, so on and so forth, right? That's just the absolute basics of it. So you put this code in, put a script inside your NPC with this code in it, put the animations in it that you want to load. I think in this case, I'll have to figure out which. It's just the walk animation, so. All right. Easy peasy, easy peasy. So it walks back and forth, right? Now, a part of this NPC is we'll do two things, okay? We're going to do two things here. Now that we've changed the properties of the bullet, we need to change the properties of the hit part. Because if you recall, we had two scripts inside the hit part. One is what happens when we get hit with a bullet, and one is what happens if we get hit with an object. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change that into this code. So we need to say and this is going to be hit part. Now, in this case, it's going to be hit dot parent yeah, dot humanoid. Equals, yeah, we could do that. We'll change it to 10. There we go. I forgot that. Because there's no way for us to test this part until two players decide to shoot at each other. So now what we also need to do is we need to add the zombie. So there's a couple of things we can do here. We should just change the name of one of the parts. I like to take the torso, let's say, and we can change this to just hit part, just like that. And then we can take this here. We'll copy that. Put that in there, and then we need to say hit part. And then what do we want it to do? We want to say hit dot parent remove. All right, now let's see if we can shoot the zombie. We're just looking at this bit of code here. Let's see if we can shoot the zombie. Whoops, something's wrong here. What did I do? Line 32. Oh. Did that fix it? All right, satisfied now. Oh boy. Humanoid is not a valid member of. Bullet hit things. Oh, I used the same name. Whoops. There we go. Haha. Now, I don't know why I turned red. I don't know why I turned red. Oh yeah, there we go. It disappeared. Yeah. So if you shoot the zombie, it'll disappear. And now, if I tie this all together, so that's how you get rid of zombies. And then going back to the bullet itself, the bullet. Okay, it still has our name on it. So what we can then do is we can now reward the player. We can now give rewards to the player when they strike this part. Because now we can get the name of the player, and we can now put a script in here which says if the name of what we get hit with is such and such name bullet, then you can take the name and you can search the player and you can give them a property. So that is what's going to be coming up next. What we'll cover here, what we'll cover next is right now having the NPC follow us. So let's see if we can do that real quickly. So we'll anchor this. And we will make this just kind of like that. And we'll say can't collect false. So we can walk right through it, all right? So inside here, we're going to go insert object, a script. Okay, and now what we want it to do is we want to say script parent.touched connect function. Okay, and what we want it to do, we want to say hit again is going to be our common variable. So if we say if hit.name. So there's two ways we can do this. We can either have it activate. This is the easiest thing to do. If hit.name is equal to the name of the weapon, all right? Similar to what we're doing with the bullet. Yeah, let me just tell it the way. Similar to what we're doing with the bullet, okay? We'll have to add a few names of different weapons. And that way you can reuse the same block over and over again, and you can give out different rewards, and they'll still be able to interact with the block, no matter what reward they have. So if we say, if they run into it with this object, then what happens? Well, what we want to do is we want to tell the NPC to run towards us. So what we need to do is we need to give the NPC our position, okay? So we need to take this AI walk code. We need to duplicate it. and then this is going to be attack. Okay, so we'll make the second one attack. And now what we need to do when it attacks, it's going to let's see, how did I make this work here? All right, let's check and see how I made this work here. I think I used my head. Yeah, I think I used my head. The zombie door, that's right. That's right. That's right. Okay, so that's all I had to do. Simple, easy peasy, easy peasy. But then the AI walk code is that, and then we have the activate code, and then it's folder.position. And what I must have done was where's the folder? Game.workspace. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, interesting. So we need to get the name of the player. We need to get the name of the player. So when we hit the door, we need to see if we can get the name of the player. So we should say hit dot parent dot name. Now if I have the pistol out, no, script's not working. There we go. All right. Oh, it's shooter. In this case, it's shooter. Oh, that's my bad. In this case, it's shooter. That's right. That's right. Okay, so then we can print hit. Let's see. Dot parent dot name. So we have the pistol out, and I wonder if it's parent dot parent. Yeah, there it is. Hit.parent.parent.name. Okay, so then what it does, it gets the hit.parent.parent.name. We'll get rid of this. What we need to do is we then need to say script.enabled equals false, and then that way it has it. Okay, so what we need to do now inside this part is we need to insert an object, a string value. Okay, this value is going to hold the name of the player. If you want multiple players, then you'll need to add them into the part. And I just call this like door. NPC activate door. This needs to be inside the folder with the NPC and the rest of the stuff. And then we are going to hit.name equals shooter then. All right, let's see if it commits my name to the string value. imagine it will. Wait. No. Oh, I need to say .value, I think. Script .parent .player .value equals. There we go. And then, so that works. Oops, I'm searching myself here. Like, what's going on? That works. Okay, now the other thing we need to check is if we just walk through it, it's not going to do anything, right? It's not going to do anything because we don't have a weapon in our hands. Perfect. So now, why is it important that we have this object in this file? Well, now what we can do is we can get the position of the player, because now we have the name of the player who came into contact with this object. So in our attack script, we can say the folder where we're going to find the position is actually going to be game.workspace, and then we're going to say wait for child. No, we can say find first child for this one. We can say find first child, and it's going to be a script.parent .npc active door .player .value .head, I think that's right. Yes. So then we can say folder .position, and down here we can say folder .position. I wonder if we only need the one, but it still has the 2 points. I don't know. It seems to work out okay that way. So now what should happen is when we have our weapon in our hand and we walk through the block, it should send our position to this script and the NPC should come towards us. So what we then need to do, because it's going to give me an error, we say find first child. It's going to give me an error and say I can't find this location. So we need to disable this script, and where we touch the door, we need to activate it. We need to say script .parent .shopworker .ai walk, right? .enabled equals false. And then we need to say script .parent .attack .shopworker .attack .enabled equals true. And then when we have our server script here, this will handle the respawning of the zombie, right? We can take this, we can duplicate this, and we can put him in the server storage just like that. And then for this script, in the while loop, right, this is where we handle the walls and stuff. Down here we can have something else too, a little spawn to spawn it in, so that way it's in a continuous loop. Really cool. So that way if you're making like an RPG or something like that, and where you want players to have that replay grinding sort of setup, this is how the beginnings of that. Hopefully we can get into that as well. So let's test it out, see if it's going to work. Okay, so if I don't have my pistol, it doesn't do anything. And then he should be trying to come towards me. Yeah, he's trying to come towards me, but it's slow. See, and he'll follow me. Oh, what's going on now? It's giving me an error. Yeah, see, he's just standing there. I'm not too sure what the timeout is. Maybe his walking speed is too slow. Let's change this to 10. And you know what? Let's get rid of one of these. Let's just have a... Oh, because walk speed is 0. So instead of getting it to stop, because we have moved to finish wait, we should just get rid of that. We should just do that. There we go. Now it's really simple. Let's test it out. Let's test it out. Then he should just come after me. Alright. We're experiencing some technical difficulties. Ooh, nice. Nice threads. Oh, really? Script timeout. I wonder... Okay, so that wasn't a good idea. That wasn't a good idea. Oh my goodness. Come on, Roblox. It created an auto recovery, but... Oh man. No, don't change. No. Okay, all right. So what happened there? We probably didn't get. Okay, so if we let's just test this out. So then let's just keep the move to finish. Oh, I need the wait in here because it's part of the wild loop. That's why. That's why. Let's try that. And let's try that again. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, look at that. He came right at me. But, for some reason... Let's turn that to 7. For some reason, he disappeared. Oh, because it's just repeating, wow, it's just repeating that. We don't need the chat. Oh, it's repeating this loop over and over and over and over and over again. Right. So if we tell it to wait, is it going to... Right, there you go. Every second it updates. Interesting. Okay, well that's not too bad. And then you can add then we'll have to add something for... I get rid of the text. Try and find... We'll see if we can find another way. Then we can speed it up a little bit. See if we can find a better way of getting the text through. Yeah, there we go. And now he'll keep chasing us. But he disappeared. Now, why did he disappear? Why did he disappear? Oh, is it because of that? He touched this part here. Interesting. This script here is cloned onto the bullet. We could disable it here, and then that way the zombie wouldn't disappear when he hits the player. But then when we... Where is it here? Then when we... clone it. I should make a local for it actually. I should make a local for it. I should go local. Damage script equals script dot parent dot shooter dot hit thing. There we go. Then I can say damage script clone. Let's see. Damage script dot enabled equals true. Then it clones it. Then I can say damage script dot enabled equals false. Maybe that'll work. Yeah, there we go. So it's not enabled. Oh, the thing fires so bad. Oh no. I'm gonna run out of bullets. Oh, I did run out of bullets. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there we go. Blasted him, blasted him. Okay, so it does work. Alright, so now that we're able to get rid of the NPC, let's do the final part. Let's replace the NPC back in the world. And for that, we just need a little bit of code which we can put into our handler, our workspace handler. And that will conclude this video. So, in the server script service, we need to have a fancy little script called NPC respawn. I think I did that in the last video. I'm going to copy this script. And I'm just going to put it in here in the server script service. Just paste it, just to go over it. Then moving forward in the next video, we're going to be doing things on this server. Just because I already have the data store here, I just need to publish it. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay, so what do we need here? Basically, this is just a spawn script. If you have a vehicle spawner or anything like that, this is exactly what it is, an object spawner. And so what it does is it just looks in the workspace for a folder called NPC. In this case, it'll be city police. I guess we have to change it to NPC, right? Yeah, that'll probably work. Let's try it out. Alright, we'll go over it. We'll test it out. We'll go over it. What it does is it scans the workspace for the bot. And if it doesn't detect the bot in the workspace, there we go. It tried to respawn it. NPC is not a valid member of storage. So what it does, every 10 seconds, it scans the workspace for the bot. If the bot is not there, then what it's going to do is it's going to search server storage for the folder name. In this case, the folder name is NPC. And then it's going to search for the specific NPC that's missing. And then it's going to respawn that NPC into a certain position. So this can be a myriad of things. Yeah, otherwise it says print bot not in workspace. You might need this I don't know if we need one script for each type of bot. I'll have to figure that out. But that's the gist of that. So the bot chases the player. Oh. There, see, bot in workspace. Gotten rid of the bot. There, now you respawn, and it should be reset. Oh yeah, workspace. NPC. NPC. City. NPC active door. There we go. And then this, I just named that A. We disable it here, and then we enable it, so that way you can, it should be able to go through. And then now the NPC that's in here, AI walk is enabled and attack is disabled. Perfect. So everything is set up and ready to go. Let's run through the system. The last thing we're going to need to do is get the zombie to deal damage to us. Oh. There we go. Oh, you know what? I didn't actually change the speed of the second bot in here. The first bot. Copy that. Paste into. All right, there we go. Now this should match up. Ah, there we go. Yeah, so I hope that from this, oh yeah, good, now he's chasing us now. I just hope from this that what you're seeing is some of the fun that you can have in the game, right? And then the last thing, like I said, the last thing we want to do is we want to get this NPC to deal damage. And then we want to track player rewards. So I think maybe what we'll do is we'll do that in the next video. We'll deal with NPC damage and then player rewards. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. So once again, thank you so much for watching, liking and subscribing. I really appreciate it. I know these videos are a little all over the place. I'm sure as I get further along, I'll be able to explain things maybe a little bit better. Hopefully. But yeah, if you just follow the scripts, and you can pause the video and you just follow the code. A lot of it is really self-explanatory. And you'll end up with something just like this. And then it's up to you to sort of craft this into a scene. Like I say, whatever that could be. You know. Maybe you're trying to... Who knows? This isn't working out very well. Oh no. Uh-oh. And then so once the zombie or it takes us down, right? Then it'll reset itself. It should reset itself and it should walk back to normal or do whatever it's gonna do. Missiles essentially gonna be the same thing. In a nutshell. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.